All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopefully elect. Back at you with another lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And I'm going back to the comment board. This is from a comment from the brother King Squad Vlogs. It says, thank you for this lesson, brother. I was edified. The second question was if you could do a quick lesson on America Babylon the Great, right? Which that's what it is, America Babylon the Great. America Babylon will be destroyed by nuclear weapons. When Yahushua returns and delivers the elect, okay? Because my friend's dad doesn't believe America will fall and be destroyed, and he believes that it's going to continue and go on forever. All right, so I'm just gonna roll in the spirit with this one. Before I get that, let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras chapter 4, because we know America, Babylon the Great has to fall for the kingdom of heaven to be here, reigned on the earth. All right, let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 2, verse 26. It says, then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel, for the world hasteth fast to pass away. Now this is the angel answering back to priest Esdras. Verse 27, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come, for this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities, right? The current world that we are in today, right? Is full of what? For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities, okay? And what is promised to the righteous in time to come? A new kingdom, right? A new heaven and earth. Let's get this real fast, because this is what we're seeking for. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 14. For here we have no continuous city, but we seek one to come. Now, going back to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 4, verse 28. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. And this is talking about the kingdom. All right? The kingdom where it's going to dwell what? Righteousness. Everything is going to be back restored to its proper order. Okay? The Israelites, we will be restored back to our proper order. Okay? Serving Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, law, statutes, and commandments written in our inward parts. Okay? The heathen being back under subjection under our foot. Yahweh sent his only begotten son, Yahushai, back, right? He's gonna be the King of Kings, Lords and Lords. King David is going to be back in his rulership as king, right? 144,000 a governing body will be ruling, establishing the government, establishing the laws and commandments, right? And everyone's going to be ordered under subjection under us. Just read the book of, I believe it's Micah chapter, Micah chapter 4, see? But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow into it. And many nations shall come up and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, into the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. You see? So we're going to be back in rulership. We're going to be back governing the earth, and the nations are going to have to come to us to learn the ways. You got to remember the law, statutes, commandments are already going to be written into our inward parts as being the Israelites. That's a covenant that that's going to be the second covenant. Okay. It's for the Israelites, just as the first was. Okay. This is also proves that the second nation, the other nations will not have the covenant. Okay. Because they're going to have to learn the ways. But ours, we're not going to have to learn the ways because it's going to be already written in us. Okay. The law, statutes, and commandments. Now, I don't want to get off topic, so let's go back So as we are reading, let's go hit it one more time. 2 Ezra chapter 4, verse 29, it says, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, which is the evil, unrighteousness, perverseness, wickedness, right? And if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then it cannot come that is sown with good. So if this place is not ultimately destroyed, utterly destroyed, purged, cleansed, then how would the kingdom be able to come? Because we know that righteousness is not going to be able to dwell with wickedness. Okay, no, all this is about to be cleansed by the way of what? Nuclear fire, okay, which is going to come from the nuclear missiles. All right, as the earth was cleansed, as the earth was purged the first time by the way of what? By the way of water. Now it's going to happen by the way of fire. So let's get that real fast. So let's go back and get that. This is the book of you see. Yep, 2 Peter chapter 3, yep. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 6, it says, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished, but the heavens and the earth which are now by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. Okay? So it says what? Reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. All right, so this is how the way of destruction is going to come, by the way of fire, via the nuclear missiles, right? That's why the scriptures talk about it's going to look like a lake of fire, and people think of it of hell, but it's not going to be hell, okay? The lake of fire is talking about this place. That's what this place is going to look like via hit by all these nuclear missiles and destruction. And there's a lot of scriptures in the Bible that speak on this, okay? So let's get this first. Let's get we're talking about the third World War, which is World War III. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay? So you had different previous battles, okay, was with the confused noise, dealing with different horsemen on the battle, okay? People fighting with axes and swords and shields and, things of that sort, right? So it was different confused noise. But this battle is going to be what? With burning and fuel fire via nuclear destruction. All right, this is what all the nations are preparing for, right? An all-out World War III. Because this was going to take place. Now, let's get this one. Isaiah chapter 54. Like I said, I'm just rolling in the spirit. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 16 says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. Now, a smith is what? A creator. If you know anything, let's go back to the ancient world of someone called a blacksmith, right? Their job was to what? Create weapons. Now, I want to keep that tab up. Let's just type it in, a blacksmith. Blacksmith. So it says what does a blacksmith make? What does a blacksmith do? Blacksmiths shape and join metals to make items such as wrought iron, gates, railings, furniture, and horseshoes. This is achieved by heating metal in a forge until it is soft and workable. Blacksmiths then hammer, bend, and cut the metal into shape before it cools again. So that's what a blacksmith does now. Okay, but it's a creator. Now, blacksmith in ancient, blacksmith in ancient time. Blacksmithing origins first track back to the 1500 BC when the Hittites discovered the process of forging and tempering iron ore. When the Hittites were scattered in 1200 BC, so was their knowledge and understanding of basic iron work. Okay, but the point is, a person that was a blacksmith, they made weapons. Okay. Yep. See? Talk about they would not just make weapons, but they would make other things also. But, their main trade of skill they would use to make weapons. They would make a lot of weapons, and they would customize your weapon too, especially depending on what rank you were. But that's the point on that. All right, dealing with a blacksmith. So a blacksmith is a creator of a weapon, and the Lord put it on the spirit of these devils to create these weapons. All right, because see, this is through prophecy. World War III is going to take place. All right, scriptures talk about the Lord working on the minds of kings. Book of Malachi 4 verse 1 says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as a oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and they that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." Okay, and this is the day that we're coming into, right? It says, for behold, the day coming that shall burn as an oven. Okay, when it talks about leaving no branch, no root, or no root, neither root nor branch, what is able to do that? What is able to melt the elements with the fervent heat? Well, nuclear missiles. It has that fervent heat. It has that the temperature let's type this in real fast. The temperature of a nuclear missile. Temperature of nuclear I messed it up. Well, but it typed it in, so it says what? About 100 million Celsius. Check that out. Initially, most of this energy goes into heating the bomb materials in the air in the vicinity of the blast. Temperatures of a nuclear explosion reach those in the interior of the sun about 100 million Celsius and produce a brilliant fireball. The fireball shortly after the detonation. Check that out, right? So when it talks about leaving either a root nor branch, what has the temperature to do that? Well, nuclear weapons do, right? Let's go to the book of Zechariah 14 verse 12. Look at the capability of a missile, what it would do to you. And this, when you think about this, you should envision the scene that was happening on the Terminator, right? When Sarah Connor was on a fence standing there, and that nuclear fire came and swept past her, and she was stuck. She was stuck on that fence, holding the fence, till she burned as a skeleton as the fire melted her body. This what should come to your mind. Zechariah chapter 14 verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. You see, what is able to do this? Well, this heat from the nuclear missiles. All right. All right, so where do I want to go with that? So let's read it again, because I'm kind of losing the train of thought. So yeah, it says the second question was if you could do a quick lesson on America, Babylon the Great, who were destroyed by nuclear weapons. Yeah, so that's what we're going into. Okay. Yep. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 18. Verse 4, right? It says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come up out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues." Now, this is going into us being the elect, all right? Being beamed up into a chariot, okay? That they may what? That they may not what? That they be not partakers of her sins, and receive not of her plagues. Why? Because for her sins have reached up into heaven, America, Babylon the Great, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Okay? Reward her even as she rewarded you, double unto her, double according to her works, and the cut which she had filled to her double. For much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she said for her heart, I sit a queen, and I am a widow, and shall see no sorrow. And that's the pride and mind frame of America, Babylon the Great. They have the mind frame of, I'm never going to see no sorrow. Okay? And this place have lived deliciously, So it says, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and she shall see no sorrow. Basically, she's saying, I'm never going to get judgment. I'm never going to receive hurt. Right? Verse 8 says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For the Lord God, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. Okay, so this is going into the destruction of America, Babylon the Great. It says what? She should be utterly burnt with fire. And before I got to this, I was going into the process of leading up to, not leading up to, but how I speak about this battle is going to be filled with fire, and how the Lord have created the waster to destroy. How it speaks about it's going to leave neither brute nor neither branch nor root. Okay, it's all going to come by the nuclear destruction, which is going to come where? Onto Babylon the Great. Verse 9, and the kings of the earth, the other nations, who committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So the other nations are going to be able to look on and see the destruction of America, Babylon the Great, because these other nations, what do? They sleep with this whore. They get all the goodies. They get all the spoils out of the whore. They make money. Okay? But see, it's talking about these other nations are going to be able to see the smoke of her burning. Verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Okay, so that's pretty much the point. You could read further down, but it's going into how America, Babylon the Great is destroyed, and then the other nations are going to be able to look on, and then these other nations are going to weep and mourn, because now they're no longer going to be able to what? Be able to live deliciously with this place of whom they lived deliciously with for a long time, getting the gain, getting the spoils of this place. You see, because these nations come here to make money off America, Their attention's not the, you do got the individuals, the ones that come over here to try to escape, the BS, and from not the BS, but escape their customs and their cultures of the other nations, because America said you can come here and leave off from your customs and do what you want and be free, which meaning be wicked. Okay, but they truly, nations come here and build wealth for their families to take it back to the country that they come from. All right. But see, so this is one, the Babylon, America, Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed. All right, so let's see. So yeah, and when Yahweh Shah returns to deliver the elect. So yeah, going into this, that Revelation 18 verse 4. Okay, that's the elect being delivered. Okay, out of America, Babylon the Great before that ultimate destruction takes place, which is the burning of fire of nuclear missiles. All right, so yeah, I think I pretty much covered it on just a basic level. There's more scriptures we can go into all over the place dealing with the judgment of America, Babylon the Great. Let's get this one. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 34, verse 4. It says, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all the hosts, their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree. Okay, so this is talking about, when the nuclear missiles hit, what do you see? You will see a mushroom cloud roll up from the smoke that pop, from the smoke or from the missile hitting the ground, almost like the aftermath. All right. Let's jump to verse 9. It says, "And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become a burning pitch." This is talking about the destruction of America, right? And it says, "It shall not be quenched night or day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever, from generation to generation, and it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever." Hey, because America, Babylon the Great, is going to be a wasteland. Verse 11, "The cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness." So now this is going into, desert-like creatures and creatures that are going to be able to inhabit this land, this wasteland. Okay, because people is not going to be able to inhabit it, but it's going to give you more specific creatures that they are, right? And it says, "And it shall stretch out the line, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness," right? So let's just say if like there's not going to be no more landmarks and things like that as you're used to seeing. You're not going to see the Statue of Liberty. You're not going to say, well, Texas was here and New York was here. No, everything was going to be moved out of its place. As the scriptures say right here. Let's just get it while it's on my mind. Isaiah chapter 24 verse 20, "The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, it shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again." So what is going to be able to move the earth to and fro like a drunkard? Okay, what is going to be able to make things stagger out of its place, go back and forth, shake mountains? Well, the nuclear missiles will be able to do that. Okay. Verse 10, it says, Isaiah 34, verse 10, it says, "And it shall be not be quenched night or day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever, from generation to generation, and it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever." Right? "And the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it, and the owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. And thrones shall come up in her palaces," or Slaki, "and thorns, and thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and branches and fortresses thereof, and it shall be a habitation of dragons and a court for owls. The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow, and the screech owl also shall rest there, and shall find for herself a place of rest. And there shall the great owl make her nest, and lay and hatch, and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one with her mate." So when you see I forget, there's like a series on like Netflix, and it says I forget how it's mentioned, but it speaks about like when no one is basically like when there's no more people around. I think it'd be saying like 100 years later, or 10 years or 20 years without people. Well, you be seeing these desolate cities. What tends to happen, right? You see thorns and branches and tumbleweeds everywhere. You see creatures coming back and taking and roaming all around the land again. See, this is what's going to take place upon America, Babylon the Great. Not saying that there's going to be buildings and things like that, but this is going to be a place where these creatures are now going to inhabit, and no more people are going to inhabit this place. Okay. So I believe I covered the point. Let's get this. Let's get one more. It's the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." So these nations are, because a plowshare and a pruning hook, these are agricultural instruments. But what are they to do? Beat them into swords, into spears. And you see this amongst the nations. And nations are, majority of their money goes into what? Military structure. Okay? Whether it's for defense, whether it's for go on the offense, whatever it has to deal with military capability, this is where majority of their money is going, not agriculture, because they know that a war is about to take place. It says, let the weak say I'm strong, dealing with the smaller nations that now have the nuclear capability as well. So now they're able to defend themselves, especially being backed up by the big bear, the guard, as the scripture saying in Ezekiel 38th chapter, that he was going to be a guard into, a specific smaller nations. Okay. So now they have some backing and some type of defense, right? Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. The valley of Jehoshaphat is the valley of decision. Okay? Yahweh Shaphat. Okay? This is where they all about to go to be judged ultimately. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come and get ye down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. So we're getting ready to get to that time, right? Where what? Judgment is about to be poured out upon the earth. For the wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Yahweh Shaphat, Yahweh's judgment. And this is about to come upon these nations, okay? Being gathered up in, dealing with the World War III. All right. So, yeah, I pretty much covered it, brother. Through the Spirit, Lord willing, help us edifying. Yeah. Dealing with your friend's dad. He doesn't believe America will fall. Well, he clearly doesn't know the scriptures. Okay, America has to be destroyed. We read that in the book of 2 Ezra, the 4th chapter. The place that is sown with evil is not turned upside down, then it cannot come with good. Okay. This place has to be destroyed. Not only has to, this place will be destroyed. Okay. Says, so because my friend's dad doesn't believe America will fall and be destroyed, and he believes that it will, that is going to continue to go on forever and ever. Yeah, that's not going to happen. We will all be through if America will continue to go on. You know what I'm saying? Scripture says if it wasn't for the small remnant, we would be likened to a Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay. Let's get this right, because it is pretty much, the book of Revelation, chapter 7, verse 1, it says, and after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. What is this wind talking about? This wind is representing the destruction. Okay, that's about to come upon the earth. Jeremiah 51, verse 1, it says, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. So this wind that the angels are holding back is a destructive wind, right? And I will send into Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they should be against her round about. All right? So Babylon is going to get fanned, and people that's going to be against America, Babylon great is going to be the other nations. Let's speak about let's back that up real quick. In the book of Obadiah, it says what? Verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border, the men that were at peace with thee, right? A lot of the people of America's allies are so-called what? And with peace with thee, have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. All right. And who eats with America? Their allies. So let's go back to Revelation 7 and we can close out after that. So back at Revelation chapter 7, verse 1, it says, and after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. Okay? So that's what the angels are holding back, that wind. Okay? They're holding back the destructive wind for the sake of who? The servants of our, the sealed, the elect. Okay? This is who they are holding the destructive wind back. Because when everyone is sealed, destruction is going to come upon the earth. Right? Let's read verse 3 again. It says, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their forehead. Okay, so once everyone is sealed, which we believe is, everyone is basically almost sealed, through the Spirit. But yeah, when everyone is sealed, them angels going to release. They're going to release, man. They're going to quit holding back, and then destruction and all hell's going to break loose upon the planet Earth. All right, but the elect is going to be saved out of it. It's what it talks about in the book of Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7, it says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. So Jacob's trouble is on its way. We're pretty much getting to the point of being in Jacob's trouble, where Jake, you so-called Israelites, you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are about to go through a great distress, hell, affliction, more than the time that you can even think of. You look up all the atrocities that we went through in history, well, nothing is going to be like what we're about to go through. But it says, but he shall be saved out of it. It's speaking about the elect. The elect is going to be saved out of the hell that's about to come upon the earth. It's going to be even so bad. So who's going to have to stand up for us? The book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there should be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even the same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that it shall be found written in the book. Everyone shall be found written in the book. Okay? And it's going to talk about the book of life. But, this is how bad it's going to be on the earth. But see, as the scripture says, the elect is going to be saved up out of it. Right? The elect is going to be saved from the oncoming destruction, who are not going to be partakers of America's sins. Okay, and plagues that's about to come upon this place. They're going to be what? They're going to be beamed into the chariots, right? But as the scriptures also say, it says what? Let's see. Let's get this. Let's try to end it with this one. There's a lot of scriptures, man. Well, Lord willing, is that a fine? Saved out of it. Well, the scripture says basically how people will be scarcely saved, So you're gonna get saved by the skin of your teeth. It talks about being scarcely saved, But this is the one I was looking for right here in the book of Matthew. Oh, let's go to Mark 13. It says, and except the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh shall be saved. Right? So this is why the days are being shortened. Okay? For the elect's sake. But if we was continue to be here forever and ever, as your friend's dad thinks, we'd be through. We'd all perish. So Mark 13, verse 20, except that the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh should be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he have chosen, he have shortened the days. All right, this is why the days are being shortened. All right, let's see. Oh, I know I typed that in wrong. Let's see if I can find it. get it right here. No, I'm typing that in wrong. Terrible. Sorry, though. Autocorrect, baby. All right, First Peter 4, verse 18, it says, and if the righteous scarcely be saved, where should the ungodly and sinner appear? So it speaks about us being scarcely saved. Okay, to the point where you might not think you're going to make it. You know, you want to have faith that you're going to make it, but things are going to be happening so fast. You know, we don't know exactly how things are going to take place, but things are going to be happening and moving. You're going to be, getting saved by the skin of your teeth simultaneously when, missiles may be going off and the angels shooting chariots everywhere. Hold on 1 second, bro. So when missiles going off, angels shooting chariots everywhere, you get beamed up right into that chariot. You know what I'm saying? And then look to see the fall of your enemy and the destruction of the wicked and the destruction of America, Babylon the Great, So, it's pretty much a lot to go through. I could have got more, but just rolling in the spirit and answered your questions through the spirit. Lord willing, hope this lesson was edifying. Till next time, I want to say shalom.